Okay, let's be real for a second. I want you to picture a scenario that I think is going to feel uncomfortably familiar. It's 6 p.m. on a Tuesday. You've been running around all day. You've answered maybe 50 emails. You've sat in 3 different Zoom meetings. You haven't stopped moving. You are exhausted.
Completely drained.
But then you look at your actual to-do list, and the one big, scary thing that really mattered, the project that actually moves the needle, it's still just sitting there, unchecked.
Oh, that is the absolute worst feeling. It's that hollow sense of being busy, but not actually being productive.
Exactly. It's soul-crushing. It's that universal panic of where did the last 12 hours even go? We all feel like we're drowning. So today we're tackling that head-on. We are diving deep into mastering the clock, strategies for peak productivity.
And if you are feeling that way, the source material we're analyzing has some cold, hard truths, but also some serious lifelines. It's not about working harder. In fact, it's mostly about stopping the behaviors that make us feel like we're working hard when we're really just spinning our wheels.
And before we get into all the hacks, and we have plenty of them, we need to start with the philosophy. Because the source makes a really interesting point right out of the gate about fairness.
It does. It starts with what it calls the great equalizer. It's easy to look at a CEO or an author or just that one friend who seems to have it all together and think they must have some secret advantage.
And they do. They have money or staff.
Sure, they might. But the source reminds us of the one fundamental reality. Everyone has the exact same 24 hours.
See, I always struggle with that because I feel like saying we all have the same 24 hours ignores that, some people have a chef and a driver and I have to do my own laundry.
That's a fair pushback. But the source argues that while our circumstances differ, the resource of time itself is the fixed constant.
Yeah.
You cannot buy a 25th hour, no matter how rich you are. The argument here is that the difference isn't the volume of time they have, it's the conscious control they exercise over it.
Conscious control, that's the key phrase.
Right. Time is a distinct economic resource. It's different from money. You can't save it in a bank for next week. You can't invest it for compound interest. Once a second is spent, it is gone.
Forever.
So if you aren't controlling it, it's still being spent, not by you.
That sounds great on paper, but the modern world is designed specifically to strip us of that control, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The modern context is the villain in this story. The source highlights that we are living in an attention economy.
We've got smartphones, Slack, pinging every 30 seconds, infinite scroll on social media.
News, alerts, emails.
Feels like we're fighting a losing battle against algorithms designed to steal our attention.
And the source validates that feeling. It says that without a rigid system, these distractions don't just annoy us, they actively steal opportunity. Tasks pile up, deadlines get missed, and your cortisol levels, your stress hormones go through the roof.
Because you're constantly reacting instead of acting.
Exactly.
So that is our mission for this deep dive. We are going to unpack mastering the clock. And I want to be clear, this isn't about learning how to work 18 hours a day.
No, quite the opposite.
We aren't here to teach you how to burn out faster. We're looking at how planning and prioritization can actually give you more free time.
That is the ultimate goal. Efficiency isn't about doing more work. It's about creating space for your life.
So on the roadmap today, we're going to bust the biggest myth in productivity. Then we'll break down a decision-making framework like the Matrix, and we'll give you some psychological tools to trick your brain into doing the hard work.
It's a full toolkit.
Let's start with definitions. How does our source actually define time management? Because I think a lot of people just equate it with speed.
That's the biggest misconception. The text is very specific here. It's defined as exercising conscious control over the amount of time spent on specific activities to maximize efficiency.
Okay, so it's not about doing things fast. It's about the decision of what to do in the first place.
Precisely. It's about intent. If you spend 3 hours scrolling social media because it's your day off and you want to relax, that's managed time. But if you intended to write a report and spent 3 hours scrolling...
That's a lack of control. That's a crucial distinction. It removes the guilt from leisure.
Right.
But let's talk about the enemies of that control, the anti-heroes. What's the #1 productivity killer mentioned in the text?
Multitasking. And I know. Everyone thinks they're great at it.
I was going to say, I treat it like a badge of honor. If I'm not on a call while typing an email and eating a sandwich, I feel like I'm slacking.
And that is the trap. The source drops a statistic here that should really stop you in your tracks. Multitasking can decrease productivity by up to 40%.
40. 4 Nero. That seems impossible. I feel busier when I multitask, so how am I getting less done?
You feel busier because your brain is working harder, but it's not working effectively. There's this thing called switching costs.
Switching costs.
Yes. Your brain isn't actually doing two things at once. It's incapable of deep focus on two cognitive tasks simultaneously. What it's doing is just toggling, rapidly switching focus. And every time you switch, there is a cognitive penalty, a little lag. So you're draining your mental battery just by switching gears. Plus, you make more errors.
So you end up having to redo the work anyway. You're doing two things poorly instead of one thing well.
You got it. So, step 1. Stop pretending you can juggle. Monotasking is the new multitasking.
Okay. What else gets in the way?
Well, obviously procrastination, which is the big boss we'll fight in a minute. But there's also overcommitment.
The people pleasers?
Right, the inability to say no. The source points out that taking on too many tasks leads to what psychologists call decision fatigue and just, well, lower quality work across the board.
That connects back to the conscious control idea. If you say yes to everything, everyone else is controlling your time for you. Okay, let's get tactical. Because don't multitask is good advice, but when I wake up Monday morning, I have that to-do list a mile long. Everything feels urgent. How do I know what to do first?
This is where you need a framework. You can't just rely on your gut because your gut will usually choose the easiest thing or the loudest thing, not the most important thing.
So what's the framework?
The source details the Eisenhower matrix.
I've seen this before. It's the 4 boxes, right?
Right. Imagine a square, 4 quadrants. You categorize every task based on 2 questions. Is it urgent? And is it important?
Urgent meaning time sensitive, and important meaning valuable to my long-term goals.
Exactly. So quadrant 1 is urgent and important. These are crises. The deadline is today. The server is down.
You do those immediately. No choice there.
Right. Firefighting. Now let's jump to quadrant 3. Urgent, but not important.
These are the trickiest ones.
They are the fake work. The email with the red high priority flag, that's just someone else's drama. The interruption from a coworker asking, got a sec?
These things scream for your attention.
But they don't move your needle. The strategy is to delegate or, if you can't, to minimize and batch them. Don't let them interrupt you.
Then there's quadrant 4, neither urgent nor important.
Doom scrolling. Mindless, busy work. The strategy is simple. Eliminate. Just stop.
Okay, but we skipped 1, quadrant 2.
Important, but not urgent.
The important one.
This is the holy grail. This is where success happens. Tasks like strategic planning, exercise, relationship building, they are incredibly important for your life, but, and here's the catch, they are never urgent.
No one is screaming at you to go to the gym. There is no deadline for become a better leader.
Exactly. So we push them off. I'll do it when things calm down, but things never calm down.
So what's the fix for that?
The source is adamant. You must schedule these. If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. You have to treat your study time with the same respect you treat a meeting with your boss.
That makes sense. It's easy to ignore a vague intention, but harder to ignore a calendar invite. So the matrix helps with the big picture. But what about the daily grind?
For that, the text suggests the ABC method. It's simpler. You go down your list. A is high priority, B is medium, C is low.
And the rule is you can't do a B until all the A's are done.
Strict discipline. You never touch a C task if there's an A still on the list.
That is so hard, though. I always drift toward the C tasks because they're easier. Feels good to cross things off.
That's what we call productive procrastination. You're doing work to avoid doing the work.
Guilty as charged. And to fix that, we need to talk about goals. The source talks about SMART goals.
SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Right.
The example it gives is great. Most people say, I want to exercise more. That's a wish.
Not a goal. What does more even mean?
Exactly. A SMART goal is, I will exercise for 30 minutes every morning at 7 a.m. for 1 week.
That leaves nowhere to hide. You either did it or you didn't.
And that time-bound part creates the urgency we need.
Okay, so we have a plan. We prioritized our A-list tasks. Now comes the hard part. The execution. That moment when you stare at the screen, you know what you have to do, and you just can't.
The resistance.
The resistance is real. What does the text say about that?
It suggests a strategy with a very memorable name. Eat the frog.
Huh. I love this one. It's from Mark Twain, isn't it?
It is. The quote is basically, if it's your job to eat a frog, do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, eat the biggest one first.
Gross, but effective imagery. So do your hardest, most dreaded task first thing in the morning.
First thing.
Why the morning, though? I usually like to clear my email first to feel warmed up.
That's actually a mistake. Willpower is a finite resource. It's like a battery. You wake up fully charged. Every decision you make drains that battery. By 2 p.m., you've got nothing left for the big project.
So you tackle the monster while your defenses are high, and I imagine the rest of the day feels like a breeze after that.
Exactly. You get a massive dopamine hit of accomplishment.
Okay, but what about all the small, nagging things, the stuff that clogs up your brain?
For that, the source prescribes the 2-minute rule.
Which is?
If a task takes less than 2 minutes, sending a quick reply, filing a document, do it immediately.
Don't even write it down.
Don't write it down. It takes more time and energy to track it than to just complete it. It closes what psychologists call open loops in your brain.
The Zeigarnik effect.
That's the one. Unfinished tasks create cognitive tension. Doing the 2-minute stuff instantly silences that noise.
But what if the task is huge? Like, write a thesis. You can't eat that frog in one bite.
Right, that's where you get overwhelmed. The source talks about salami slicing. Breaking it down. You never put write thesis on a to-do list. It's too big.
Yes, you put.
Write outline for chapter 1, or even just write 1 paragraph. Tiny steps reduce the friction of starting.
Objects in motion stay in motion.
Exactly. And another tactic is using personal deadlines. This is based on Parkinson's law.
Which says, work expands to fill the time available for its completion.
Hauntingly true. If you give yourself all day to clean the garage, it will take all day. But if you give yourself 2 hours because guests are coming,
You turn into a cleaning tornado.
So the trick is to artificially shorten your timeline. Set a timer. The urgency forces you to focus.
Okay, let's pivot a little. We've talked a lot about work, but the source talks a lot about what happens outside the work hours, too.
It emphasizes structuring the day with bookends, a morning routine, and an evening reflection.
I feel like morning routine has become such a buzzword. Everyone thinks they need to wake up at 4 a.m. and take an ice bath.
Thankfully, no. It's just about not starting the day in reactive mode. The key advice is do not check your phone in bed.
Ugh, the hardest habit to break.
It is. But if you check email in bed, you start your day on someone else's terms. The ideal morning is just waking up, maybe moving your body, and reviewing your goals before the world rushes in.
And the evening.
Just as important, the evening reflection. You review what you did, but crucially, you plan for the next day. Write down your top 3 A tasks for tomorrow, tonight.
So you don't wake up and waste an hour wondering what to do. You just execute.
You hit the ground running.
One of my favorite tips from the text was habit stacking. This feels like a cheat code.
It really is. Your brain has strong pathways for habits you already do, like making coffee. Habit stacking is just gluing a new habit onto that existing chain.
So instead of meditate more, you say,
After I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute.
the coffee is the trigger.
Right. You don't have to decide. The coffee happens, so the meditation happens.
Let's talk tools before we wrap. What should be in our digital utility belt?
The source lists a toolkit. For organization, a digital calendar, Google, Outlook is your Bible. For tasks, use something like Trello or Asana to get them out of your head.
Your brain is for having ideas, not holding them.
Exactly. And for focus, it recommends blocking apps, like Forest, where you grow a tree by not touching your phone, or Cold Turkey, which locks you out of websites.
I use Forest. It's surprisingly effective. I don't want to kill my little digital tree.
It gamifies the discipline. But interestingly, the text also validates the old-school analog methods.
Paper planners.
Yes. Sticky notes, whiteboards. There's a cognitive benefit to writing by hand. The best tool is the one you actually use.
The best tool is the one you actually use. That applies to this whole conversation.
Yeah.
We threw a lot at the listen. Oh, we didn't mention the tomato, the Pomodoro.
The Pomodoro technique.
Right.
25 minutes of work, 5-minute break, repeat.
And that works because
It creates a mini deadline for focus, but the break prevents burnout. It keeps the brain fresh.
Okay, so mindset, tactics, tools. But let's land on the so what? Why do all this? Is the goal just to be a productivity robot?
No. And this is the most critical takeaway. Effective time management isn't about squeezing more work out of you. It's about balance. The source is very clear. Overworking leads to burnout. Burnout leads to zero productivity. The point of saving time on the busy work is to allocate time for family, friends, hobbies, self-care.
So if you master the clock, you don't just get more work done, you get your life back.
That's it. You get to leave the office at 5 p.m. without guilt. You get to be present with your family because you aren't mentally cycling through your to-do list.
It connects back to the beginning. Time is the one thing we can't earn back.
Exactly. And here's a thought to leave you with. If you aren't managing your time, You are letting others or your distractions spend it for you. Your time is being spent right now. The only choice you have is who is holding the wallet.
That is slightly terrifying, but very motivating.
It puts the agency back in your hands. You're in the driver's seat.
So, here is our challenge to you. We covered a dozen strategies. Don't try to change everything overnight. Pick just one.
Just one. Maybe it's eating the frog tomorrow morning. Or the 2-minute rule.
Try it. See how it changes your day. See if it buys you back an hour of freedom.
Yeah.
Thanks for diving deep with us into mastering the clock.
Go claim your 24 hours.